addition of angular momenta. Please mind it, the Clebsch-Gordon coefficient, which I am writing it as J1, J2, J, M1, M2, or I wrote something like this. M1, M2, Jm, I wrote it in the form of a matrix. But in the form of a matrix does not mean that this is a matrix. Thus, this is a convenient notation to understand Clebsch-Gordon coefficient. This is not a matrix. That means something like this: half, half, 1, half, plus half, plus half, plus 1. You cannot multiply with half, half, 0, half plus half, 0. No, not at all. These are not matrices. You cannot add them. You cannot subtract them. They are numbers. These are real numbers. Since instead of writing this thing, or instead of writing something like half, half, plus half, plus half, 1, plus 1, this is a more convenient notation. That is why I wrote like this. Otherwise, this is not a matrix, isn't it? Because on the last, a few days ago, I received a WhatsApp message that how this can be a matrix. This is not a matrix. This is a real number. Simply a real number, isn't it? Now let us come to the today's topic, and I will go slow today because there are mathematical steps and these steps are conceptual and you have to understand them. And what we are supposed to discuss is the addition of two angular momenta J1 and J2, which gives rise to J, and the projection of J1 is M1, projection of J2 is M2, and J is M. Okay? Now you see, if I have J plus Jm, this I wrote it as H cross J minus M, J plus M plus 1, J M plus 1. And J minus Jm, I wrote it as H cross J plus M, J minus M plus 1, J M minus 1. See, I am calling this as equation number 1. Okay? Now, that means if instead of J, if I call it by the name J1, okay, where what is J1? J1 is J1 plus is J1x plus I J1y. And J1 minus is J1x minus I J1y. Okay? Similarly, you can write for J2 plus and J2 minus. And J plus is Jx plus Ijy, and J minus is Jx minus Ijy. Using this, I also wrote Jx as J plus J minus, J minus by 2, and Jy as J plus minus J minus upon twice. This is what I had written. Now, if I have J1 plus, then the kate is J1, J2, M1, M2, and this is H cross J1 minus M1, J1 plus M1 plus 1, J1 M1 plus, sorry, uh, J1, J2, M1 plus 1, M2. And if it is J1 minus, then it will be, there will be plus sign here, minus sign here, and there will be a minus sign here. Say this is equation number 2. Similarly, J2 plus minus is J1, J2, M1, M2, H cross J2 minus plus M2, J2 plus minus M2 plus 1, J1, J2, M1, M2 plus minus 1. Say I am calling this as equation number 3. Okay. Now, similarly, if I have J plus minus J M minus plus 1, meaning by J plus is operating on the kit M minus 1 and J minus is operating on the kit M plus 1. Okay, therefore you can see that J plus is going to raise the value of M by 1 unit and J minus will lower the value of M by 1 unit. Therefore both of them will become Jm after the operation. Okay, and if you look at this expression, when it operates on M, J plus Jm, it gives us J minus M times J plus M plus 1. Therefore, when J plus will operate on Jm minus 1, here I should have M minus 1. Therefore, just I am keeping the notation of equation 1. What should I write? I write H cross J minus plus M minus plus 1 J plus minus M minus plus 1 plus 1 J. And this upper sign we will consider together, and similarly the lower sign we will take them together, and that means what I can write it as J minus M plus 1, and this will be for the J minus J plus M plus 1. Therefore this will be J minus M plus 1. Similarly this will be J plus M plus 1, and this will be J minus M, J minus M, and this is minus 1 and this is plus 1. Therefore minus 1 and plus 1 will cancel out. Similarly here plus minus will give me minus and plus will cancel out. Therefore here what will be left with? J plus minus M. Therefore this is, we can write it as H cross J minus plus M plus 1 J plus minus M Jm. Look at these equations, and if you have any confusion, please ask me. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Should I change the slide? Have you jotted it down?
1 minute, sir. Yes, sir. Change it.
Okay. Now see, if I have J1, J2, M1, M2, J plus minus Jm, this is equal to J1, J2, M1, M2, J plus minus Jm. What is the difference between the left hand side and the right hand side? What is the difference between the left hand side and the right hand side? Iram?
Sir, they are real numbers, so conjugate.
No. My question is, look at these two expressions. What is the difference between the left hand side and the right hand side?
They look this. They look same.
They are. This is one and the
Yes, sir.
same.
Same.
Same. Okay. This is one and the same. But why I have done that? Because you know that my J is J1 plus J2. Therefore, J plus will be J1 plus J2 plus, and J minus will be J1 minus plus J2 minus. What is J1 plus? Just in the previous slide I wrote J1x plus IJ1y, and J1 minus is J1x minus IJ1y. And we know that J1 plus we have written it as J1x plus IJ1y. J1 plus is the conjugate of J1 minus. Okay. Now you see, I will, this J plus minus, I will keep it as it is. I will change this J plus minus to J1 plus minus plus J2 plus minus. And that is why I wrote both these equations. But I will write the right hand side equivalently as J plus minus as J1 plus J2 plus. Therefore, in my next step, see, I am going slow and I am repeating the steps. Therefore, I am sorry for those who will be finding it a little boring. But for the completeness sake, this is required. I am writing it as J1, J2, M1, M2, J1 plus minus plus J2 plus minus J. And in my next step, I can write it as J1, J2, M1, M2, J1 plus minus Jm plus J1, J2, M1, M2, J2 plus minus Jm. Okay. Now you see, the important point is J plus will operate on Jm or J minus will operate on Jm. But J1 plus or J2 plus or J1 minus or J2 minus. Since they operate on J1, J2, M1, M2, therefore they will operate on this bra. But when I will bring this J1 plus to operate on this, I will have to take conjugate of that, and that would mean that this will become J1 minus while operating on J1, J2, M1, M2, and this guy will become J1 plus. And similarly here, this will operate on this bra, this will become J2 minus, and this will become J2 plus. Therefore, I can write this as, see, my first equation, I'm just following my first equation, which will be there in your notebook. H cross J minus plus M, J plus minus M plus 1, J1, J2, M1, M2, J, M plus minus 1. This is all right. This I have used equation number 1. Now I am going to use equation number 2 and 3. But for 2, first I will have to use, because this will become conjugate, I will have to use J1 minus. Therefore, this is equal to H cross J1 plus minus M1, J1 minus plus M1 plus 1, J1, J2, M1 minus plus, because J minus has operated, it has reduced the value of M by 1 unit, M2 JM, and the second one is H cross J2 plus minus M2 J2 plus minus M2, J2 minus plus M2 plus 1, J1, J2, M1, M2 minus plus 1, J. And as you can see, H cross, H cross, H cross is common throughout. Therefore, H cross will cancel out. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Say this, I am calling it equation number 5. I am calling this equation as equation number 5. Is it fine? Similarly, if the same thing I do with equation number 4, the same thing I do with equation number 4, then what I am going to get? May I change the slide?
Yes, sir.
The same thing if I do with equation number 4, then you can see that I can write equation number 4 as J minus plus M plus 1, J plus minus M, J1, J2, M1, M2, Jm. This is equal to J1 plus minus M1 J1 minus plus M1 plus 1, J1, J2, M1 minus plus 1, M2, Jm minus plus 1 plus J2 plus minus M2, J2 minus plus M2 plus 1, J1, J2, M1, M2 minus plus 1, J, M minus plus 1. This is what we'll get when we apply the same formalism to equation number 4. Okay? This I am calling it as equation number 6. Therefore, this 5 and 6, these are two very important equations when we try to evaluate the Clebsch-Gordan coefficients. Okay? For example, say my M1 is plus J1 and M is plus J. M1 is plus J1 and M is plus J. And look at the lower part of equation 5. Look at the lower part of equation number 5. Now see, the equation number 5 has a ket Jm plus minus 1. Equation number 5 has ket M plus minus 1. Therefore, you have M1, you have M2 and M plus minus 1. Therefore, what you have done, you have decided your M, you have decided your M1. Looking at the lower part of equation 1, what you will say that my M minus 1 must be equal to M1 plus M2. M minus 1 must be equal to M1 plus M2. That means your M2 will be decided by M minus 1 minus M1, and that will be equal to J minus 1 minus J1. J minus 1 minus J1. And if you put this value of M1, M and M2 in the lower part of equation 5, then what you are going to get is J plus M. Just I am rewriting it for your convenience. J plus M plus 1, J1, J2, M1, M2, J, M minus 1. This is equal to square root J1 minus M1, J1 plus M1 plus 1 times J1, J2, M1 plus 1, M2, Jm plus J2 minus M2, J2 plus M2 plus 1, and similarly for this part. Now you put the value of M as J. Therefore, what you notice that J minus J will cancel out. You will have square root 2J. Therefore, what you will have is square root 2J, J1, J2 plus J1 for M1 plus J1 for M2 plus J minus 1 minus J1. Then what is Jm, J is J and M is plus J. Minus 1. Okay, is it clear? This will be equal to, let me just change the slide if you have jotted it down, because there is overflow. Let me just change the slide. I am rewriting it. What you will get is square root 2j, j1, j2 plus j1 plus j minus j1 minus 1, j plus j minus 1. This must be equal to square root j2 minus j minus 1 minus j1, j2 plus j minus 1 minus j1 plus 1, j1, j2 plus j1, j minus 1 j1 plus 1, j plus. The second term will vanish. Because the first term is j1 minus m1, and when you will put m1 equal to plus j1, therefore the first term will cancel out and you will be left with only the second term. And this second term I have written it as, instead of j2 minus m2, m2 we have as j minus 1 minus j1, and then similarly I have put j2 plus m2, m2 j minus 1 minus j1 plus 1, and then I have rewritten it like this. That means what we have, we notice that minus 1 plus 1 will cancel out. Here also minus 1 plus 1 will cancel out. We can write this as root 2j root 2j j1 j2 plus j1 plus j minus j1 minus 1, j minus 1. This is equal to square root j2 minus j plus 1 plus j1 times j2 plus j minus j1, and the j1 j2 plus j1 j minus j1 j plus. This I will call it as equation number 7. Meaning by that, if I know this guy, if this is known, then I will be, with this formalism, I will be able to predict this Clebsch-Gordon coefficient. If I know this, then I will be able, and I will give you a few examples what I am doing. If I know this guy, then I will be able to tell you by using the values for j, j1 and j2, what will be this Clebsch-Gordon coefficient. Okay, and these 5, 6, 7 and so on, the equations that you get, they are known as Clebsch recursion formula for the Clebsch-Gordon coefficients. These 5, 6, 7, they are known as recursion formula for the Clebsch-Gordon coefficients. Okay, this I am calling it as the recursion formula for the Clebsch-Gordon coefficient. Okay, now the point is, what is the use of equation 5, practical use of equation 5, 6 and 7, and that I am going to demonstrate. See, we had half plus half, half minus half, 1 0, or half minus half, half plus half, 1 0. Okay, this corresponds to J1 is equal to half, J2 equal to half, J equal to 1, M1 equal to plus half, M2 is equal to minus half, and M equal to 0. Similarly, you can write this as J1, J2, J will remain the same, M1 will become minus half, and M2 will become plus half. Okay, now you look at the lower sign of equation 6. Look at the lower sign of equation 6. Now, what is the lower sign of equation 6? This is J plus M plus 1, J minus M, J1, J2, M1, M2, Jm. This is equal to J1 minus M1, J1 plus M1 plus 1, J1, J2, M1 plus 1, M2, J, M plus 1 plus square root J2 minus M2, J2 plus J1, J2, M1, M2 plus 1, Jm plus 1. Look at the lower part of equation 6, you will find this expression. Okay, this was one of the recursion formula. Now notice, what is my J? J is 1, M is 0, and then that means what is the left hand side? If you look at it carefully, 1 plus 0 plus 1, J minus M, 1 minus 0, we have half, half, plus half, minus half, 1 0. This is equal to look at the right hand side. On the right hand side we have J1 minus M1, and that will give us how much? Half minus half, 0. Therefore this is going to be 0. Then look at the second term, we have J2 minus M2. This will be plus 1. Okay, therefore what we have, J2 minus of M2 is minus half, therefore this will be plus 1 and this part will be half minus half into 1. That means 1 into 1. What we have? Half, half, plus half. And what will be this? M2 plus 1 plus half. J is 1 and M is 0. This is M plus 1, 1 plus 1. Now tell me, how much is this result? We have done it in the class. What is this? Half, half, plus half, plus half, 1 plus 1.
1 plus 1.
1 plus 1. Okay? Now you notice, what is the left hand side? Root 2. This is nothing but root 2. How much is the right hand side? This
1.
part? 1. Therefore, how much is this part?
1 by root 2.
Root 2.
1 by root 2.
1 by root.
1 by root 2. This
Sir, root-
you will take. Root 2 is on the left hand side. Root 2 is getting multiplied with this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
1 by root. 1 by root.
1 by root 2. And this you notice, if you recall, that I wrote this guy as 1 by root 2. This was, I wrote in the class, and I had told you that we are going to get it by using the formalism, that this will come out to be 1 by root 2. अभी हम लोग को थोड़ी देर में reconnect करना पड़ेगा. This will be 1 by root 2. Similarly, you can have J1 is half, J2 is half, with J equal to 1, but M1 is minus half and M2 is plus half. Okay, now the second term will not contribute and the first term will contribute. And how much would be result?
Minus 1 by 2.
क्यों माइनस साइन कहां से आया? Because the left hand side would be the same. On the right hand side, now the first term will contribute and the second term will not contribute. There won't be a minus sign. It will be just plus 1 by root 2. Okay, please recheck. Now similarly, if we try J equal to 0, M equal to 0, M1 equal to, I take M1 equal to plus half and M2 equal to plus half. If I take J equal to 0, M equal to 0, M1 equal to plus half and M2 equal to plus half, and use the upper equation, upper part of equation number 5, upper part of equation number 5. That means I have J minus M, J plus M plus 1, J1, J2, M1, M2, Jm plus 1. This is equal to J1 plus M1, J1 minus M1 plus 1, J1, J2, M1 minus 1, M2, Jm plus J2 plus M2, J2 minus M2 plus 1, J1, J2, M1, M2 minus 1. This was the upper part of equation number 1. Now can you tell me the result? What will be the left hand side?
Zero.
0.
0.
0, good. This will be equal to half plus half J1 plus M1, J1 minus M1 plus 1, half half minus half plus half 0 0 plus half plus half, half minus half plus 1, half half plus half minus half 0 0. Do you agree with this? Is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then how much are these values? One.
1.
Yes, sir.
1. Okay. That, but what does that mean? That this value is the negative of this value? Half, half, plus half, minus half, 0 0. This is minus of half, half, minus half, plus half, 0 0. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Now, one important property which I wrote on the last turn, that M1 comma M2 J1 J2 sum M1 comma M2 Jm square. How much was this?
1.
1. Okay. This implies that half, half, plus half, minus half, 0 0 square, plus half, half, minus half, plus half, 0 0 square. This must be equal to 1. Is it not? Because this M1 and M2, these are the sum. Therefore, you are taking the values of M1 from minus J1 to plus J1 and M2 also minus J2 plus J2. But you have to keep in mind that your J and M must be equal to 0 0. Okay. Now, just now we have seen that this value is equal to this value with a negative sign. Okay. But when we will square this, what will happen? They will get added up. That means this will become 2 times half, half, plus half, minus half, 0 0 square. This will be equal to 1. Okay? And then that means this quantity will become how much?
1 by 2.
1 by root 2.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
because this was the square, and when I will bring this to the right hand side, this will become 1 by root 2, and the other fellow will become half half minus half plus half 0 0 as equal to, this has to come with a negative sign, minus 1 by root 2. Therefore, this positive sign is divided by phase convention, and once we decide this, since the other one has to come with a negative sign, therefore this value is minus 1 by root 2. And as you can recall, I wrote half half 0 plus half minus half 0, this as plus 1 by root 2, and half half 0 minus half plus half 0 as minus 1 by root 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there, and if you please note it down, and I will change the slide. Therefore, what we are noticing, that if my J equal to 1, a system with 2 spin half particles, and Jz is plus 1, 0 or minus 1, the different states that we are forming is 1 plus 1, 1 0, 1 minus 1, and 0 0. And this, from two angular momentum states, this is only possible when we have half plus half and half plus half. This value for the maximum projection, we calculated it that this should be equal to 1. Then this is half plus half. For spin, I wrote it as both the particles, they are in the spin up state. If I represent for isospin, I wrote proton, both the particles are proton. Or if I talked about quarks, I told you that both the particles are quarks. While here, I wrote it as half plus half, half minus half, 1 0, half plus half, half minus half, and similarly the other possibility. And this we today calculated it that both will turn out to be 1 by root 2. Particle in state 1 having a spin up, particle in state 2 having a spin down, particle in state 1 having a spin down, and particle in state 2 having a spin up, or 1 by root 2 or 1 by root 2 u1 d2 plus d1 u2. And similarly, this was both the particles are in the spin down states, and or either if we are talking about quarks, both the particles are down quarks, or if I am talking about proton neutron as a isospin doublet, both the particles are neutrons. And for 0 0, because the second term is with a minus sign, we are getting 1 by root 2. Particle in state 1 has a spin up, particle in state 2 has a spin down. So particle in state 1 is in a spin down state, and particle 2 in a spin up state, or 1 by root 2 up down minus down up, or 1 by root 2 proton in state 1, neutron in state 2, while neutron in state 1 and proton in state 2. Okay. Now this 5, 6, 7 equation that I wrote, these are the master equations. And using the proper choice of J1, J2 and M1, M2, you can calculate any Clebsch-Gordon coefficient. Okay. But in general, there is no need of doing it now. You can understand it just by taking these angular momentum is half of the particles, but you can try with 1.5 and taking the different projections, all the possible values you can evaluate for the Clebsch-Gordon coefficient. Okay, if you write on Google Clebsch-Gordon coefficient, you will get the table for the Clebsch-Gordon part, and I'm just let me see whether I am able to find that out or not. Mhm. Are you able to see this part? Is it, are you able to see it?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Okay, I will try to find a better table and send it to you all. Okay, that what are the because see, the important point is, let me just go to next page, that if I have J1 is equal to 1 and J2 is equal to half, J2 is equal to 1, J1 is equal to half and J2 is equal to 1, then I told you that 1/2 3 by 2, for maximum projection everything is fine, this will be value 1. For minimum projection everything is fine, this will be minus 3 by 2, and this Clebsch-Gordon will be equal to 1. But there are other possibilities, that my J1 is 1, J2 is half, J is 3 by 2, but M1 is plus 1, M2 is 0, then sorry, M2 cannot be 0, either it can be plus
Yes,
half
sir.
or minus half. Sorry, M2 is minus half, then 1 minus half will give me half. Therefore, this Clebsch-Gordon is, my J is 3 by 2, my M is half, while J1 is 1, J2 is half, and M1 is plus half, and M2 is, this value is different from 1 by root 2. This will be a different value. Similarly, J1 is 1, J2 is half, this is 3 by 2, this is minus 1, this is plus half, this is minus half. Therefore, I will send you a table where you will find the calculated values, and after your MSc previous examination, you can work out these Clebsch-Gordon table. Okay. Therefore, this was the about the angular momentum and the angular momentum addition, Clebsch-Gordon coefficients, and other things. Now, from tomorrow, I will start again two-body scattering, where we left with, and then how, with the help of partial wave analysis, we can understand scattering cross section. Okay, and for that I will use angular momentum. Therefore, tomorrow's lecture will again be important, keeping in mind that how with the help of partial wave analysis, we obtained the total scattering cross section. What is the physical significance of partial waves? Okay. Then we will have the concept of phase shift, and then we will move to the Born approximation. Okay. Therefore, now tomorrow, what will be the time of the class? In the morning, you have got a class from 11 to 12:30.
Sir, from 9?
From 9.
No, sir, 11 best.
Sir, back to the schedule time.
But the scheduled time is only 55 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So why not we
11
can keep
is
it from 4:30 to 5:30? No clash.
No, sir, 11 is right time. Sir.
Is there any class at 11?
Yes, sir. Mathematical physics from 11:40.
11?
40.
And before that?
No class from 9, sir. 8 to 9 a class by Sabir, sir.
So let us make it 10:30. 10:30 to 11:40. 10:30 to 11:30. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it fine to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. 10:30 to 11:30.